In July 2005, 25 Tlingit, Haida and Tsimshian elders gathered in Juneau, Alaska to speak and listen and meet with one another, to tell stories about their lives, their clans, their nations, and their land. Stories about embracing family and community wellness. The year before, these same elders had met to agree upon a common set of traditional tribal values. Those values were then taken to the 69th Annual Delegates Assembly of the tribe and unanimously adopted. They are as follows: discipline and obedience to the traditions of our ancestors, respect for self, elders, and others, respect for nature and property, patience. Pride in family, clan, and traditions is found in love, loyalty, and generosity. Be strong in mind, body, and spirit. Humor. Hold each other up. Listen well and with respect. Speak with care. We are stewards of the air, land, and sea. Reverence for our Creator. Live in peace and harmony. Be strong and have courage. These are the stories they told.
Our people used to move around all the time looking for a sheltered place. And they were all up north. And they were sending those big war canoes, trying to find a sheltered place where there's fish, creek, and where there's berries, seafood, all those things. And this is how Klawak was found, that Clara told you folks. They used to send war canoes would go here on this side, all around, and they'd send a scout looking for a sheltered place and a place with a lot of food. So this is how Klawak came about. And it's a Kita family. One of them is the one that found Klawak. But Clara told you this, so I'll jump to another one. Our people were up north, and they didn't know where to go. And their leaders, chiefs, clan leaders, they all got together like council. And they said, well, we have to go. We have to go send our people to wherever they choose to live. And this is what happened. So, and they also told them they have to choose what emblem they're going to have. So some chose raven, wolf, eagle, sockeye, dog salmon, beaver, all those things. So that's how they got their emblem. And some of the people that chose different places, they were surprised just not too long ago. One lady came to me in Huna and said, I'm surprised we have relatives in Metlakatla. And they really talked about it. They were happy and yet confused, but they didn't know the story, how the people went different directions. And that's how they got to say the names of the places became Petersburg, Cake, Wrangell, Sitka, Klawak, Saxman, and some people came from Masset, and our people in Klawak welcomed them. And that's how they became our neighbors. And we loved them dearly. So this went on and on. Klawak does not have Klawak people. It's all people from all over that moved there. And that's how they became Klawak people. And Huna same way, Angoon same way. All the little villages. And our people lived in different camps, different villages. But then when the white people got among us, our people weren't moving to the communities where they have schools. And they told them, you folks have to move to a place where there's schools. Because if you don't do it, you might have to be taken to court. So they talked it over and moved to communities with schools. That's how our people from way back got educated. And white people start being with us, coming to live in our community, even now. So Heidelberg were always happy that they came. And people from BC, they also came to Metlakatla. So it's interesting. I used to think, oh, it's a waste of time listening to the old people talking. And we always say we're going to record them. We never did. They died off. And it's very sad. But with the few of us left, I'm glad that they're carrying on the native culture. A lot of things happened when we got when the people, Tlingit and Haida, and all kinds of different tribes became organizations. We start to file suit for our people. Our people were old. Some of them couldn't speak English, and yet they really fought. And that's how A and B came, 1912. So the people, some of the people that are here knows that they're founders of the A and B. So it's really nice that the people that copied the ancestors by joining the A and B, Alaska Native Brotherhood, Alaska Native Sisterhoods, IRA, and all those things. So then Native culture came in. Dancing, putting up food, carving, all those things. We had professional people, and it was interesting listening to them. My brother used to say, oh, that's old-fashioned. And when he got older, I asked him, some people were coming to me for native culture advices on this and that, and carving and painting and sewing, all kinds of regalias. To my brother, it wasn't interesting, so he didn't study it. And when he got older, I told the people that came to me, you folks go to my brother, he's older than I am. When the young people got to him, he didn't know how to advise them because he didn't know. See, this is what we're trying to teach our young people now, but some of them, they just don't think it's important. But when we're gone, they're going to be like us. We want help from the elderly people. They're gone. And we kept saying, we'll record you. We'll do this, we'll do that, and we never did. We thought they were going to live forever. But we were happy Our people were happy when they had lots of seafood, salmon, every kind of salmon. Our canneries used to be loaded. One time I saw the cannery bins all full and the boats, seiners all full, deckload. And the scows were all full, and there was phone calls coming from camp where all the boats were full. What happened? Now they have fish farm, and now you see newspapers with do not eat farm fish. Now in Cake, it's my hometown, Cake, and they told me they got fish from the farm in Cake, and somebody gave this native a fish from the farm, and he put it up, he hung it up, and he was surprised to see when he came back later on from home, went to the smokehouse, the fish, the meat all slipped off, slimy, and it smelled awful. He was looking at it, and he took the fish from the ground and gave it to the cats, and the cats went there, smelled it, and they turned away. See, they are not supposed to bother the natural way of fish, how they come around, how there are a lot of fish nowadays, not that time. Some of these boys here sitting here, I know them since they were really young. Fish was no problem. But since they're making hatchery for them and messing around with the fish, now Klawak, lot of fish there. And we've been talking that's a sockeye creek. You cannot fool around with the sockeye. That's a sockeye creek. They won't listen. And I told them, how about you folks just leaving the fish alone so we could have more fish. You folks doing everything you can to do it your way, but you don't know nothing about it. Our people that's born and raised in Alaska, you folks should take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them to help the whole Alaska. But they wouldn't listen. Now one time there was one of our native in Craig, and the Fish and Game was gathered around it and watching a fish. Oh, one of them said, there's a codfish. And one of the men from Klawak said, no, that isn't. No, he said, that's a sockeye. A sockeye. And some of them said, no, it's this kind of fish. And the man from Klawak said, that's not any of the fish you're talking about. That's a codfish. So you folks have to hire or have the native people help you folks, because they know all the fish, but they won't do it. They messed around with it, and they did everything to it to make it successful. Instead, no more canneries, no more fishermen, no more fish. One time I was on a car coming from Hollis, and I actually saw a ditch there, and there was humpies in there. They're trying to survive. And I told the Fish and Game announced it on the TV, radio, that there's no fish at all any place. I went to them and I told them, all the creeks, even the ditches are full of fish, and you say there's no fish. If you don't recognize fish, that's something else. So this is a kind of bad time we're having. So if we turn it around, if we were doing that, maybe they'd have us in jail, like trying to make the fish survive. I don't know what they're feeding them, but their meat, everything is really bad. You can smell it a mile. So this is what we're going through. We used to have canneries loaded, flooded. We used to have all our boats, our scows, everything just filled up with fish. Now, nothing. So this is the reason why we always say, if they just left the fish alone, it would have been a different story. We could have still have a lot of fish if they just left it alone and let it be on their own instead of bothering. Even now they're bothering the fish. So we'd like to be in a peaceful life like we were long ago. Now we had potato gardens. We had carrots, lettuce, cabbage, radish, everything. And they took our land away. They took our gardens away. And in 1971, when we were filing for our lands, they told us, we're going to give it back to you. It'll be a time we'll give it back to you. Now that's 71 and this is 05. We still never see nothing. So now we go down to Seattle and all we do is our people from Kawak went down to California and they were just admiring the oranges. It looked good to them because we like oranges. And our owner came out with a big gun. All we did was look, but over here, they come in and take our land away, no matter what we say or do. And then Washington, D.C. called us a sleeping giant, A and B. So we need to stand on our feet. And you need to use your elderly people that pass on, use their ID on everything. You folks can do it. You're all smart people that left behind. So I know if we work hard, we're going to make it. There's a lot of Indian stories, but we had a story that was written, and it was real good. But before they got to the end, the person that was writing it died, and they didn't know what to do. It was a white lady, and she went and left it behind, and her kids, to finish it, they just put in any old thing. They didn't even know what they were writing, and it came out in a bookstore. Somebody told us, and they checked on it, and they told them, put it away. No truth in more than half of it. So this is what happens. Now we'd like to have our way of living. We were happy. But now every little thing you gotta have permit, you gotta have everything. Their way, not our way. Now, we don't go down south and try to boss them around or take their land away. If we do, you know what will happen. Now, our native people, his grandma, grandfather, grandmother, they all know how to put up food. Native food. And we like our food. We don't like to eat from the store steady. Now, one time a girlfriend of mine, later on I adopted her, young lady, and she just don't know what to do. She was all mixed up. And she called me from here to Huna. What shall I do? I don't know what to write. I have a test, college. Well, I don't know if I should help you. Oh, I need help. I need help, Mom. So she said, well, what's the first question? She said, who brought the liquor in all kinds of liquor from south? I told them the white people. True facts. Now, who brought drugs to Alaska? And I said, the white people. And kept on like that, all kinds of questions. And you know what? The phone call came the next day, straight A. I got straight A only because I was a recognized expert. I'm a certified native culture instructor, and I've been learning from the time I was 5. I was adopted. I'm from Cake. I was adopted to my mother's sister adopted me in Kloak. Our uncle David Roberts the first sent a boat after us and brought my sisters and my brothers over to Kloak, and we liked it. Now we loved all our native people. We try to do the best we can. Now we enjoy our food better than food from store, and the prices in the store is so high, it's unbelievable. So no jobs in Alaska, and we have power. Our ancestors told us stories, and we'll never forget it. And anybody asks me, the young people, I answer the questions. I don't hold back. And it's nice. I know there's officers in you folks' community, like Tribal Council, IRA, A&B. By the way, Al McKinley here is a Grand Officer. What is it now? Executive. President, huh? Yeah, I got his card in my handbag. And Ralph here, he's a hard worker in his community. I think he's staying here for doctors. We don't have doctors living in most of our communities. Now, we need to go back to our living, and we want to be happy as we were. We know our culture, we know our stories, but on account of what happened to our stories, our ancestors told us, advised us, don't write any stories anymore or don't give it away, because you folks all know and seen what happened to our story, so we had to put it aside. So this is what's happening. Again, I'll repeat, we have to learn our cultures. Even if you have to go to a senior citizen, talk to them and find out more about what you want to know, do it. Do it. Because you can learn it. You all have good minds. And you all can do the same thing that your father, mother, grandmother, grandfathers did. You can do it. This is our land. We've been here before the flood. Our ancestors from way back told us that we were here, natives were here long ago. So, and the way they used to do it, the people in war canoes would go through the community through the towns, and there was a place called Deweyville, a lot of fish there, and there was landowner man walking on the beach, and they yelled at him, "What are you doing?" And they yelled at him, trying to attract his attention. He said, "I'm going up up the creek here to eat some old fish. And so the war canoe went there and landed there. And they followed his footsteps, his tracks, and all the way up. And they asked what they were doing there. Well, this is where I eat. But, and right there, they saw the house that we claimed, Ha'ushitan. That was the name of it was there in Deweyville. Now, there's a place there called Tuxican. That was an Indian village, too. So that's where our people started going to different places when they decided to move. So we had a lot of places. I know Huna had Glacier Bay. They all used to stay up there and put up food, fish, and everything. And I was there. I was married to two of Huna men. They told me the stories. And I'm always willing to help anybody from the native people. If they need help, if they want information, I'll help them. As long as I live. Maybe someday, if you want to ask questions, you can come see us, Clara and I. We're the only two that can talk Tlingit. The rest didn't. They can hear a little bit, but that's all. So I'm interested in, when I had dancers, my dancers were all small. And now they're famous. And they gave them the honor of coming in celebration time when there's dancers from all over Alaska. So they're going to lead in the dancers. Same way with Huna, I had dancers there, and they were beautiful. And John Hanlon, my stepson, said, "It's sure nice. It's the best I ever seen." And the old timers, they're all my friends, ladies. They were real good in.
Alisaya King Andas Lukunana Digula Digwa Wagina Nuya Daskit Along Kilkana Digula Digwa Yahualihi I Yahualihi I Yahualihi I Yahualihi I Yahualihi I Yahualihi I